The Z06, a symbolic alphanumeric code that represents the name of some of the best track-focused Corvettes ever built. The Z06 has always stood as Chevrolet's ultimate expression of innovation and performance, blending cutting-edge tech with track-bred capability, all in a form that enthusiasts can own. Every generation raises the bar, securing its legacy as one of the pinnacles of track performance. The Z06 has always captivated enthusiasts with its engines, meticulously enhanced to unleash extra power, rev higher, and deliver a driving experience full of excitement, all backed by some of the most thrilling exhaust notes ever heard from a V8 production car. What began as a clever way to work around an AMA racing ban has evolved into a mainstay of Chevrolet's lineup, a model that continues to drive innovation and shape the future of the Corvette brand. In this episode of A Car in History, we'll go over the Chevrolet Corvette Z06. The roots of the Chevrolet Corvette Z06 can be traced back to 1957, a defining year in American automotive history. That year, the Automotive Manufacturers Association, or AMA, issued a voluntary ban on factory-backed racing following growing safety concerns after the 1955 Le Mans disaster. The resolution forced General Motors to officially withdraw from supporting SCCA racing and other competitive events, cutting off direct factory involvement in motorsports. Zora Arkus Duntov, the father of the Corvette, wanted to offer customers a Corvette that was not only race-ready but practical for everyday life. To circumvent this ban, Zora Duntov and his peers formulated the designation code Z06. This code served as a specialized performance package made for the 1963 C2 Corvette Stingray. Opting for the Z06 package set a customer back an additional $1,818.45 on top of a 327 Fuelie 4-speed Stingray. The engine used for the C2 generation Corvette Z06 is a first-generation small-block Chevrolet V8 called the L84. The L84 is constructed of cast iron. It has a bore of 4 inches with a stroke of 3.25 inches, displacing a total of 327 cubic inches with an overhead valve train configuration. It featured mechanical Rochester fuel injection. The L84 featured in the C2 Z06 utilized a forged steel crankshaft with domed pistons made from forged aluminum, bumping compression to 11.25 to 1 as opposed to the standard 10.5 to 1. Additional modifications were better flowing camel hump 461 Fuelie cylinder heads to pair with the Duntov 097 solid lifter camshaft. The Z06 package modifications didn't just stop there, no pun intended. Better brakes with a vacuum brake booster and dual master cylinders, heavy-duty front stabilizer bars with stronger shocks and stiffer springs to go along with the optional 36.5-gallon fuel tank over the standard 20-gallon tank. The Z06s that came equipped with the 36.5-gallon fuel tank were called tanker Corvettes. The C2 Z06 came equipped with front and rear independent suspension with a posi-traction rear differential, which was only able to be equipped when a buyer mentioned that they were buying a Fuelie coupe equipped with a Muncie 4-speed before being able to add the Z06 package. The C2 generation Chevrolet Corvette Z06 made 360 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 352 to 354 pound-feet of torque at 4,000 RPM, with the red line of 6,500 RPM. The C2 Chevrolet Corvette Z06 could hit 60 miles an hour in 5.8 seconds, with a top speed of 130 miles an hour, attached to an M20 4-speed manual transmission. The C2 Chevrolet Corvette Z06 was only produced for 1 year and had 199 units produced, with 63 tanker Corvettes being produced. The Z06 nameplate would remain dormant for 38 years, not seeing a return until the debut of the C5 Corvette Z06 in 2001. Chief Corvette engineer Dave Hill wasn't satisfied with where the C5 stood in terms of performance. He believed that the Corvette had the potential to be sharper, lighter, and more track focused, and his vision directly led to the creation of the C5 generation Z06. The C5 generation Corvette Z06 was built as a no-compromise, high-performance machine that revived the spirit of the Corvette racing heritage while also paying tribute to its creator, Zora Arkus Duntov. The conception of the C5 generation Corvette Z06 led to the creation of the LS6, which is a part of the third generation of the small block Chevrolet V8. The LS6 is constructed of aluminum. It features a bore of 3.898 inches with a stroke of 3.622 inches, displacing a total of 346 cubic inches with the overhead valve train configuration. The LS6 wasn't just a lightly modified LS1, it was re-engineered for higher performance demands. One of the key upgrades made for the C5 Z06 was the use of the 243 cylinder heads, which offered improved airflow compared to the LS1's 241 cylinder heads. To handle the demands of higher RPM operation, Chevrolet equipped the LS6 with stronger valve springs, ensuring stability at elevated engine speeds. Completing these changes was a revised intake manifold designed to increase efficiency and allow the engine to breathe more freely. Together, these modifications gave the LS6 both horsepower and responsiveness beyond the standard LS1 Corvettes. The performance upgrades developed for the Z06's motor didn't just stay exclusively to the Corvette, they also made their way into the Pontiac Firebird and Chevrolet Camaro, with them getting the LS6 intake manifold for the 2001 to 2002 model years. Later, the LS6 was offered in the 2004 to 2005 Cadillac CTS-V. The 2001 Chevrolet Corvette Z06 made 385 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 385 pound-feet of torque at 4,800 RPM, with the redline of 6,600 RPM. The 2002 to 2004 Corvette Z06 made 485 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 400 pound-feet of torque at 4,800 RPM, with the redline of 6,600 RPM. With the C5 generation Z06 as a whole coming equipped exclusively with the 6-speed manual Tremec T56. The 2001 Z06 could hit 60 miles an hour in 4.3 seconds with a quarter-mile pass of 12.9 seconds at 113 miles an hour with a top speed of 168 miles per hour. The 2002 to 2004 Z06s could hit 60 miles an hour in 4.1 seconds with a quarter-mile pass of 12.7 at 114 miles an hour with a top speed of 168 miles per hour. The C5 Z06 was offered exclusively in the fixed-roof coupe configuration, a design choice made to maximize both lightness and structural rigidity. To further drive home its track-focused design, Chevrolet equipped the Z06 with a lightweight battery, a thinner windshield, lighter rear glass, and replaced the traditional spare tire with the tire inflation kit. The C5 Z06 also implemented a groundbreaking titanium exhaust system, making it the first mass-produced car in the world to feature a titanium exhaust. Thanks to these changes, the C5 Z06 weighed 127 pounds lighter than the base Corvette coupe. Underneath, the C5 Z06 received its own suspension code, codenamed FE4. It was developed specifically for the C5 Z06. The FE4 setup included stiffer springs, larger anti-roll bars, improved bushings, and unique shocks. Grip was further enhanced with wider Goodyear Eagle F1 supercar tires. To celebrate the C5 Corvette's racing success at the 24 Hours of Le Mans, Chevrolet introduced a commemorative edition Z06. This special model wore Le Mans blue paint with a silver racing stripe and a carbon fiber hood that saved 10 pounds, being the first time a carbon fiber hood was used on a Corvette. The commemorative edition Z06 also featured unique exterior and interior trim to honor the C5 Corvette's endurance racing success. The C5 generation Chevrolet Corvette Z06 ran from 2001 to 2004 with a total of 28,388 units being produced, with 2025 commemorative edition Z06s being produced for 2004 only. The C6 generation of the Chevrolet Corvette would release with the 2005 model year, with the C6 generation Z06 debuting the following year, taking everything learned from the C5 Z06 and building off the lessons learned from it. It became the first Corvette to feature an all-aluminum frame paired with a magnesium front subframe, giving it a lightweight yet incredibly rigid foundation. Unlike the previous iteration Z06 models that relied on modified versions of the base engines, the C6 Z06 introduced a purpose-built power plant called the LS7. The LS7 was exclusively designed for the C6 Z06 and later the Zeta platform Camaro Z28. The LS7 is a part of the fourth generation of the small block Chevrolet V8. It's constructed of aluminum. It features a bore of 4.125 inches with a stroke of 4 inches, giving it a 427 cubic inch displacement with the overhead valve train configuration. The LS7's internals were a forged steel crankshaft, titanium connecting rods and intake valves, flat-top forged pistons, giving the LS7 a compression ratio of 11.0 to 1. The LS7 came equipped with CNC machined cylinder heads, which aided in giving better flow, paired with the LS7 spec camshaft and intake manifold. Another first that the LS7 introduced to the Corvette was a dry sump oiling system. A dry sump oiling system is designed to maintain proper engine oil flow and lubrication even during intense G-forces of high-speed cornering. The final output of the C6 generation Chevrolet Corvette Z06 was 505 horsepower at 6,300 RPM and 470 pound-feet of torque at 4,800 RPM, with the red line of 7,000 RPM. The C6 Z06 could do 0 to 60 in 3.6 seconds, with the quarter-mile pass at 11.7 seconds at 127 miles per hour, with a top speed of 198 miles per hour, attached to a Tremec T56 6-speed manual for the 2006 and 2007 model years, switching to a Tremec TR6060 6-speed for the 2008 to 2013 model years. In 2009, General Motors went a step further with the LS9-powered C6 ZR1, which was the first time the Z06 and ZR1 were available for sale at the same time. When compared to the Z06, the ZR1 was statistically faster with 638 horsepower and 604 pound-feet of torque. However, in terms of road course racing, the Z06 was lighter and didn't heat soak after a few laps and MSRP'd at a lower price. The Z06 had nearly 90% of the ZR1's track performance for a fraction of the price. The C6 generation Corvette Z06 got their special editions as well. In 2007, Chevrolet introduced the Ron Fellows American Le Mans Series GT1 Championship Edition, a special model honoring Ron Fellows' success in the American Le Mans Series. The Ron Fellows Edition stood out with its Arctic white paint. Styling cues included twin Monterey red racing stripes on the fenders with the full-width racing spoiler, unique windshield banner, and chrome wheels. Exterior graphics featured Ron Fellows' name, his championship years, and a maple leaf motif to reflect his Canadian heritage. Inside, the car featured red seats, red center console, red door panel, and red instrument panel. The armrest was leather and covered and numbered and signed personally by Ron Fellows. In 2008, Chevrolet introduced the Corvette 427 Limited Edition Z06, a special model created to honor the legendary big block Corvette Stingrays of the mid-1960s. The 427 name is a nod to the cubic inch displacement of the most powerful Corvette engines produced from 1966 to 1969, as well as the displacement for the C6 Z06 being 427 cubic inches. The 427 Limited Edition Z06 stood out with its crystal red tint coat exterior, the first time a Z06 was offered in a metallic red finish. Additional styling cues included hood and front fascia graphics inspired by the classic Stinger hood design in the 1967 427 Corvette, along with exclusive 427 hood badges. The interior featured red carbon fiber accents on the center console and 427 stitched into the headrest. Each car was individually numbered and personally signed by Will Cooksey, the longtime Corvette assembly plant manager who retired after 15 years of service. In 2011, Chevrolet released the Z06 Carbon Limited Edition, a track-oriented variant of the Z06 combining lightweight materials with high-end performance hardware. The Carbon Limited Edition was made to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Corvette's first participation at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. Mechanically, the Carbon Limited Edition Z06 introduced magnetic ride control, codenamed F55, the same one used in the C6 Z01, making it the first Z06 available with the RPO code. It employed carbon ceramic Brembo brakes with dark gray metallic calipers. The rims were black 20-spoke rims that had a diameter of 19 inches up front and 20 inches in the rear, wrapped in Michelin PS2 tires. The exterior was offered in two colors, Inferno Orange and Supersonic Blue. Other exterior changes included blacked out headlamps and mirrors, a body color ZR1 style spoiler, a raised carbon fiber hood echoing the C6 ZR1's look without its window insert. The Carbon Limited Edition featured an ebony leather and suede interior with contrasting stitching to match the exterior color. Suede was used on the seat inserts, armrests, doors, steering wheel, and shifter. Some more additional standouts for the Carbon Limited Edition Z06 was unique sill plates, steering wheel emblems, and logoed headrests. The Carbon Limited Edition Z06 blended ZR1 level hardware with lightweight carbon fiber elements. During the same model year, the regular Z06 would undergo its own major step forward in its track focus evolution with the introduction of the Z07 track package. The Z07 track package, which could be had for an additional $9,495, transformed the already capable Z06 into a true track weapon by incorporating Michelin Pilot Sport Cup tires, massive Brembo carbon ceramic brakes borrowed from the ZR1, specially tuned magnetic selective ride control codenamed F55, the same one shared with the ZR1, paired with its aerodynamic add-ons like a front splitter and rear spoiler. Thanks in part to its carbon ceramic brake rotors, the Z07 track package delivered fade-free braking during extended track use. These refinements helped push the Z06 to be a more capable track weapon than the base Z06. To mark Chevrolet's 100-year anniversary, the 2012 Centennial Edition package was made available across Corvette models, including the Z06. The Centennial Edition blended heritage touches with modern performance and styling. The exterior of the Centennial Edition came exclusively in carbon flash metallic paint, accompanied by satin black graphics, red brake calipers, and unique Centennial satin black wheels with the thin red stripe around the rim edge. The special Centennial Cross Flags badge was modified with a 100, replacing the traditional fleur-de-lis symbol. Additional commemorative details included Louis Chevrolet's face displayed on the B-pillars, wheel centers, and steering wheel center. The interior was a carryover from the Carbon Limited Edition, except for the headrests having embossed Centennial logos. Just like the Carbon Limited Edition, the Centennial Edition came with magnetic ride control, still making it a very suitable track car. Even to this day, the C6 Generation Z06 still remains a formidable track car, capable of delivering lap times that still impress today. The LS7-powered Z06 is still considered by many to be the ultimate front-engine Corvette if the valves are properly serviced. The Ron Fellows Edition Z06 ran for the 2007 model year only, with 399 units being built, with 300 made for the United States, 33 for Canada, and 66 for export. The 427 Limited Edition was only available for 2008, with 505 units being built. The Carbon Limited Edition was only available for 2011 and had 252 units being built. The Centennial Edition was only available for 2012 with a total of 2,201 units across all Corvette models, with 195 being labeled as Z06s. The C6 Generation Chevrolet Corvette Z06 ran from 2006 to 2013 with 27,995 units being built.
The C7 generation Corvette debuted in 2014, with the C7 Z06 undergoing development during that period and subsequently launching the following year. The Corvette's chief engineer, Taz Euchre, placed a stronger emphasis on making the upper limits of performance more accessible with the C7 generation Z06. It broke away from the traditional Z06 formula, delivering an entirely new approach to Corvette performance. The C7 Z06 would be the first Z06 to be supercharged from factory, departing from the NA V8s from previous generations. The C7 Z06 came with a targa top and convertible, which was a first for the non-base Corvettes. According to Chevrolet, the targa top Z06 is 60% more rigid and the convertible Z06 is 20% more rigid than the FRC configurations in the C6 Z06 and ZR1. The C7 Z06 is powered by the LT4, which is a part of the fifth generation of the small block Chevrolet V8. The LT4 features a bore of 4.065 inches with a stroke of 3.622 inches, displacing 376 cubic inches with the overhead valve train configuration and dry sump lubrication. The supercharger used in the LT4 was an Eaton R1740 1.7-liter TVS supercharger that made 9.5 pounds of boost. The LT4 features a fully forged rotating assembly to go along with rotocast cylinder heads to handle the increased boost pressure from the supercharger. This gave the LT4 a compression ratio of 10.0 to 1. Power output for the C7 generation Chevrolet Corvette Z06 is 650 horsepower at 6,400 RPM and 650 pound-feet of torque at 3,600 RPM, with the red line of 6,600 RPM. Attached to a Tremec TR6070 7-speed manual with active rev matching or General Motors 8-speed Hydromatic 8L90 equipped with paddle shifters. The manual C7 Z06 could hit 60 miles per hour in 3.3 seconds, passing the quarter mile in 11.8 seconds at 125 miles per hour. The C7 Z06 equipped with the 8L90, which Chevrolet claimed shifted faster than the Porsche PDK, was able to hit 60 miles per hour in 2.95 seconds, hitting the quarter mile in 11.1 seconds at 127 miles per hour. With the top speed for the manual being 198 miles per hour and the top speed for the automatic being 195 miles per hour. To help the C7 Z06 be more usable for everyday driving, the LT4 came equipped with advanced technology such as direct injection and variable valve timing along with AFM, which helped improve fuel economy for low engine load situations. Exactly like the C6 generation Z06, which received the Z07 package in 2011, the C7 generation Z06 also offered the Z07 RPO code, but this time it was available right from its debut year. The Z07 package separated itself from its base counterpart by incorporating several performance upgrades like the front splitter and dive planes, larger rear spoiler which was adjustable in rear diffuser. The steel slotted and ventilated rotors were replaced with carbon ceramic Brembo brakes. The tires were sticker Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2 tires over the standard Michelin Pilot Super Sport ZPs. The interior featured competition sport bucket seats providing deep lateral support for cornering. These seats were made with lightweight reinforced materials and upholstered in premium leather or suede microfiber, emphasizing performance, looks, and comfort. Complementing the track-ready cabin was the optional Performance Data Recorder, or PDR, which was available across all C7 models starting in 2015. The PDR allowed drivers to record videos of their sessions with telemetry data such as speed, throttle, braking, and steering input, and G-forces. The PDR system turned into a powerful tool for analyzing and improving lap performance, giving drivers both a functional and high-tech experience. The Z07 performance package could only be ordered after purchasing the Aero package, which required selecting either the carbon flash painted ground effects for $8,495 or the exposed carbon fiber version, which could be had for $10,495. The C7 Z06 would also go on to be the building block for the 2019 ZR1 with the LT5 with its even more heightened track performance. The C7 Z06 is still considered by many to be the best street and track Corvette, being able to beat six-figure European exotics around the track. In 2016, Chevrolet released the Corvette Z06 C7R edition. It was created as a tribute vehicle to the C7R race car that competed in endurance events like the 24 Hours of Le Mans and the IMSA series.
Chevrolet designed it as a celebration to the success of the Corvette's racing on track and infused the road-going Z06 with the same competitive race-bred spirit with the C7R edition, coming with the Z07 track package as standard. The C7R edition was only available in two colors: Corvette's Racing Yellow Tint Coat, which was a bright race-inspired yellow that matches the C7R race car livery, or black, with a glossy black finish that highlighted the carbon fiber accents and aerodynamic components. To celebrate the 65-year anniversary of the first Corvettes rolling off the production line, Chevrolet created the Carbon 65 Edition Corvette between the Grand Sport and Z06. The Carbon 65 Edition Corvette stood apart from the regular Grand Sport and Z06 models with exclusive ceramic matrix gray metallic paint, carbon flash painted lower body accents, and extensive use of visible carbon fiber components, including the rear spoiler, ground effects, and hood insert. The Carbon 65 Corvettes also came equipped with a suede-wrapped steering wheel accented by blue stitching, Carbon 65 door graphics, and exclusive commemorative badging, all honoring 65 years of Corvette excellence. Despite the C7 Z06 deviating from the traditional approach by offering an automatic transmission with a convertible option along with a supercharger to elevate its performance capabilities, it still stood as the last hurrah for the front-engine Z06 Corvette. The C7R Edition Z06 was only available for 2016 and originally intended to end production with 500 units, but due to high demand, 650 units ended up being completed, with 570 coupes and 80 convertibles. The Carbon 65 Z06 ran for 2018 with 353 units being built, with 281 coupes and 72 convertibles, with the whole production total between the Grand Sport and Z06 being 650. The C7 generation Chevrolet Corvette Z06 ran from 2015 to 2019 with 39,940 units being produced. The C8 Corvette was officially revealed to the public in 2020, officially debuting as the first production mid-engine Corvette, followed by the unveiling of the C8 Z06 on October 26 of 2021, with the C8 Z06 entering production in November of 2023. The C7 Z06 was already a deviation from the traditional Z06 approach, but the C8 Z06 would bring itself back to the traditional approach to the Z06 with a bit of a twist. The C8 Z06 featured an all-new designed engine called the LT6. Its beginnings can be traced back to 2014 with the debut of the LT1 small block, which laid the groundwork for the new era of Chevrolet performance. As early as 2015, engineers began experimenting with flat plane crankshaft concepts, a radical departure from the traditional cross-plane crank layout with the goal of creating a naturally aspirated high-revving V8 unlike anything seen before in a production Corvette. This ambitious project would go on to be codenamed Gemini. The LT6 is a part of the fifth generation of the small block Chevrolet V8. It's constructed from sand-cast aluminum with pressed-in iron cylinder liners. The LT6 shares its similarities with previous generation small block Chevys with a 4.4-inch bore spacing, however, similarities end there. The LT6 has a bore of 4.104 inches with a stroke of 3.150 inches, displacing 333 cubic inches. The flat plane crank is constructed of forged steel. It features titanium connecting rods with CP Carrillo pistons. All of this produce a 12.5:1 compression ratio. The LT6 ditched the overhead valve setup for a dual overhead cam setup derived from the C8R race car, being the second time the dual overhead cam valve train configuration was used in a Corvette V8, last being seen on the Lotus LT5 V8 and the C4 ZR1 in the 1990s. The LT6 intake manifold features dual throttle bodies. This intake manifold design enables an extraordinary 110% volumetric efficiency, achieving airflow efficiency levels comparable to mild supercharging, all thanks to its high-revving design and tuned intake resonance. The LT6 features dry sump oiling in 6 stages. 4 are dedicated to the crank bays. The crankshaft area is split into 4 zones to ensure oil is efficiently scavenged from all parts of the bottom end. Another part of the stage scavenges oil from the left cylinder head and timing cover area. In the final stage covers the right cylinder head and rear of the engine. All of this gave the C8 Generation Z06 670 horsepower at 8,400 RPM and 470 pound-feet of torque at 6,300 RPM, with the redline of 8,600 RPM, making the LT6 the world's most powerful naturally aspirated production V8. The LT6 was attached to a Tremec TR9080 dual-clutch transmission, making it the first Z06 to feature a dual-clutch transmission, propelling it to 60 miles an hour in 2.6 seconds with a top speed of 195 miles per hour. The C8 Z06 marked a return to a naturally aspirated formula while layering in advanced features, some evolved from earlier Corvettes while others are introduced for the first time to push the platform into new territory. While the C8 Z06 is no longer the undisputed king of the 8th generation Corvette now that the ZR1 has stepped in, it still stands as the more attainable Corvette supercar, an alternative that undercuts many of its exotic overseas rivals. At the same time, it serves as the very foundation of which the C8 ZR1 and hardcore ZR1X are built on. The Z06, a symbolic alphanumeric code that represents the name of some of the best track-focused Corvettes ever built for the last 6 decades. It was only built to satisfy racing regulations, but it's always been about showcasing cutting-edge technology with world-class track performance in a package that is obtainable to enthusiasts, helping propel it to the forefront of automotive performance and cementing the Chevrolet Corvette Z06 as the undisputed king of track-focused Corvettes.